Hello everybody! Today we are here with Stephen Sutherland. Have I pronounced it well, your name?
Yes, you have. Stephen, the Scottish Sutherland, like the clan Sutherland you have.
Exactly.
Yes.
Coming from Scotland to Manchester to found a company called Social Circle.
Yes.
That is a website where the members can enjoy many social activities in Manchester and in a community of like-minded people. Before that, Stephen,
My mum calls me Stephen when I've done something wrong, so it's probably better Steve.
Steve has a vast experience in graphic design and marketing and also managing people. And also he has a very interesting experience that I want he to tell us. 5 years traveling around the world and working at the same time. What is that? Okay, you are interested also? Follow us. Well, Steve, tell us what was your trajectory before you created Social Circle?
Well, Social Circle really came about as the result of my extensive travelling. I'd went round the world for 5 years, meeting people in a group environment, enjoying their like-minded company. And then I came to Manchester in 2006 and thought this will be easy to integrate into a brand new city, having all these experiences of travelling around the world and meeting people of similar interests. However, it wasn't. I joined the gym, I'd done various things. Back in 2006, there wasn't the plethora of information online that there is now, and it was very difficult to find people of the same interests and values that I had. So then erupted Social Circle. It was simply a connection of people to come together, to meet each other, away from work, to have fun, to meet new like-minded people in a fun, safe, relaxed, natural environment.
But tell me more about your experience traveling. I'm very curious about that.
Oh, travelling. Well, a lot of people book the journey from the UK or Europe across to Australia. I was no different. Thought, let's go to Australia. And on the way over there, I stopped. My first stop was in Hong Kong. Done that for 5 nights, and then I went into Bangkok. Now, I was meant to be in Thailand for 10 days. That was it, 10 days. However, I left there 10 weeks later. And that's how actually just travelling encapsulated my life at that point in time, where it was about different experiences, different people, different cultures, and the whole diversity of the world. For the first time in my life, who had been born and brought up in Scotland, was really me sitting up and taking notice of how big the world was. Then I go on to Australia, and then I go on to South America, and then I come back and I say, my God, isn't the world a big place? Isn't it an exciting place? Isn't it somewhere where you can get worldly advice and actually just expand your knowledge and expertise by going out and meeting other people? Then it just lasted for 5 years. I'd travel, I'd work in Australia, and I went in to do 15 months travelling in Africa. I stopped in a place called Nakata Bay in Malawi and built an international backpackers. Employing 20 staff, having 4 dogs. I moved on from there. I spent some time in New York. I worked for 3 months in there. So wherever I was, wherever I enjoyed being, I kind of just stopped, embraced that culture, embraced the people, and really got to know it. And then kind of moved on from there. It was, there's been 2 things in my entire life that have changed me as an individual. One was becoming a father, and the second was actually travelling.
I agree with that. Traveling gives you a lot of knowledge, a lot of opens your mind of the different cultures of the world. And so you were traveling to some place, having a job in whatever you could find,
Yeah.
and then traveling to other place, spend more time there. Is there any special place that you love?
Well, it was funny. My first time going to South America, I went and done Argentina, Bolivia, Peru, and then Brazil. And I was there for just 4.5 months. And every time I met someone, they would say Colombia is the jewel of South America. Now, I've never been to Colombia, so it was always one of these, when I finished in South America, I thought, I always want to come back. So I did, I went back, and right enough, Colombia was and is part of the jewel of South America. There's other places that are close to my heart. Vietnam is just lovely, and for different reasons. Sydney, there's only really probably 2 cities in the world that I would probably stay in from where I am now, and that would be Cape Town or it'd be Sydney. And Sydney is just, once you're living there and working there, it's just got so many options, so many things to do. But living in Africa, when I built my international backpackers, the average life expectancy in Malawi is 36. So, I had 2 staff die underneath me in the 7 months that I was actually working there and built a backpackers. So many different places has touched me for many different reasons. And I think when you've travelled as extensively as I have, I don't think what you've got is a favourite. I think what you've got is a time of where something touched you for a particular reason.
I envy you so many places. I have been some of the places you have mentioned, but probably not that many. Well, go back to Manchester, the time when you decided to start Social Circle. How was the beginning of it?
Well, that was the easy bit, and it's almost like found myself really lucky to find the job has found me. I came to Manchester, I was in a marketing communications job, working full time, earning a really good salary, big disposable income, and then I said, how do other people who have not got the same confidence as me meet each other? So that's when I thought, in my spare time at weekend, why don't I set up a social group, and we can go walking, discover Manchester, go out to the latest bars and restaurants and clubs and do nice weekends away. As it turns out, the job just grew and grew and grew, and it was pretty clear that my full-time commitments in my job and Social Circle were not aligning together. So therefore, I had to make a decision on whether actually I keep my full-time job or the entrepreneurial spirit in Steve again, give Social Circle a go. And we did. Back in 2006, we decided to actually give Social Circle a go on a business commercial sense.
Mm-hmm. And now we are doing, you did before, I'm doing a program, it's called Accelerator, that helps entrepreneurs to boost the business through workshops and mentorships and networking with other entrepreneurs. How this program has helped you to improve your business?
There's no doubt. I'm probably at the very start a stereotype entrepreneur where you get distracted easy, you go into projects that you probably shouldn't be, you don't do enough research, you never do the research that you should do for your business to business or business to consumer markets. And what Entrepreneur Spark did for me back last November was take that and challenge everything I knew with the enablers that were on here as well as the other entrepreneurs that were on here. And it's constantly challenging yourself and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations where if somebody asks you a question about your business and you don't know it, you've really got 2 choices. Either fudge them off or stand up and be counted and say, I don't know that answer, but I will come back to you once I do know it, and go out and get that information and actually start to know your business a lot better. And then here, for somebody like myself, they're very good at challenging you. Very good at challenging you, and to the point of making you say, I'm going to change this and I'm going to make it more commercially viable, and I'm going to do my due diligence and learn more about my industry and my persona and my customer.
Let me know, what are the 2 main mistakes that you have done that if you start again, you do different?
Well, I don't ever see them as mistakes. I see them as learning experiences. Mm-hmm. I think once you do something twice, it becomes a mistake. The first time it's an experience. So let's get us away from where we're making failures. It's actually embrace failure at the same time. Rather have tried and failed than not have tried at all. But certainly for me, I do think that research is fundamental to any business. And in a modern day environment where everything, data, analytics, research, information from the library on Mintel reports, on specific people, specific businesses, the information is all there. What you have to do is get the questions to understand what you want out of your business and go do that due diligence, go look for that. And at the same time then have enough confidence to knock on doors or pick up the phone and go speak to what you would deem a prospective client. Now, when it's in consumer, stand out in the city centre of Manchester, and if you see somebody walking towards you that you think that person matches my criteria, stop and ask them the questions. If it's a business, say to them that you're doing your knowledge and you're doing your research. Would they give you 5 minutes to answer some simple questions? It may be that the offering you have is not needed in the marketplace. But what we've done as a serial entrepreneur is we've done everything on a heartbeat, on a hunch, without doing our research. Fundamental, do your research. The second thing is speak to people, but listen. It is a quality that we don't all have, and certainly one that I've had to learn over the years to stop being over passionate and actually stop and take the time to listen. If you can listen what somebody's trying to tell you, you're more likely to digest it and understand the research that will dictate if the business idea you have is one for the current marketplace.
Interesting. Also, well, in this type of business that is about events and socializing, how do you separate your social life from your job?
Well, in the early days of entrepreneurship, tell me one entrepreneur who can separate it. Phenomenally difficult, you know, to say to yourself, because of 24-hour communication with telephone and internet, emails, that separation, it takes a strong character. I haven't managed it. I'll hands up. I live and breathe my work. And my wife sometimes has a real go at me. Put that away. Let's have just quality time together. But it's very difficult. I suspect when you grow as a business and you can employ somebody that you trust and you respect and you value, who knows the business and who can deal with the issues that are there day to day, then you probably feel easier about taking less of a day-to-day role and more of a strategic role. But they're hard elements to find in every entrepreneur. Some are, yes, on you go, do that, and let their baby go to the other person, and some just will never let go of what they have because they think nobody's ever going to be able to do the same job as I do. That's a mistake. In order for your business to grow, you have to learn to give your work out and outsource to other people.
And delegate. Mm-hmm.
Delegate. You have the trust to delegate. You can train people as much as you want, but in the end, you have to trust someone to go ahead and do it and learn from their mistakes. I always empower when we get interns on or I take on staff. I say to them, you know, I cannot give you enthusiasm. I cannot give you passion. We can teach you. But what I want you to do is we're going to empower you, and it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay. In this world, it's okay to make mistakes because you'll learn from that, and that's far more powerful than not actually trying at all.
Indeed. To end with, how do you see yourself and Social Circle later on in the near future, but also in the far future?
Yeah, we've got a massive task on our hands. There's no doubt about that. Since we have started up as a business, modern day technology has dictated how people go about engaging with other individuals and outside their workplace. And it is a challenge to keep drilling down to your ideal customer, where they are, what their spending habits are, where they're hanging out, and what their interests are. So we have to drill down even more to make sure that our effective marketing becomes even more effective. And that's the strategy we've got at the moment, is to build our core membership base up to a level where we deem 300 members to be a self-sustaining membership level where we can implement our first franchise project. That's the exciting element, because my vision has never changed over the last 3, 4, 5 years, which is to sit in a boardroom and have me at the head of that with our franchisees around that boardroom. That's still my passion. There's 3 elements to a franchise. It's got to be scalable, it's got to be transferable, and it's got to show that in that region it can make money. So we're working on that element at the moment to show a prospective franchisee the documentation of how they go about from scratch to actually set up a membership base and have the support behind them to make sure that that actually works. So big projects ahead, and because of this I'm also learning about myself and how we work, new strategies and new work ethics in the workplace as well. Exciting times and very challenging.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work, but also I see you very passionate about that, so I am sure you will get there. It has been a very interesting conversation for me. I hope also has been for you. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for taking the time to listen. And if you need to meet some more people, www.social-circle.co.uk. Thank you. Esteban, do you know that actually work is now finished? People were able to go out and start enjoying themselves out of working hours. Why don't we go along to one of the events that we're hosting along in Manchester?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just about to start. We can be there, we can meet some nice people, have a great night, and actually come into work tomorrow and actually have a bit of fun on our face. Do you fancy it?
Sounds good. Okay, well, no, let's go.
Great, let's go.